Hey guys, thanks for checking out another episode of Ryan Knows Crypto. Today we're going to talk about something a little different. We're going to talk about GPU mining. Now this is something that holds very dear to my heart. It's how I got started in the cryptos through the mining game, and it's very profitable. I highly suggest you get into it if you get the chance. But there's a lot that goes into it and no one ever talks about it. So I'm going to break it down piece by piece, episode over a few episodes, and tell you what the most important things are to consider. First thing you want to consider when you build your rig is we're going to consider the motherboard. Now the motherboard plays basically the most important role next to your cards. So what kind of motherboards are out there to get? My favorite motherboard, the Asrock H110 Pro BTC. The reason it's my favorite is a 13 card motherboard. It costs $180. Now I've bought these as low as $120 and I've sold them as high as $200 on eBay. And they go anywhere from $120 to $250 depending on what day of the week it is and who needs them and who can get them internationally. But it's an Intel motherboard and it lets you run 13 cards. This is the one I recommend. I've built lots of rigs with this. Another motherboard you can go with now is the Asus B250. Now this motherboard here costs $209 and it can support up to 19 or 16 cards or 19 cards, something along those lines. So why wouldn't you go with this over any other motherboard? Well, the problem is, and they don't tell you this when they sell you the board, is that it only can go to 13 cards using regular cards, and if you want to use anything more than 13 cards, you need to have P104 or P106 mining cards. Very special mining cards that have no I/O outputs or no video output solution on the card. It's just a flat piece of metal. It's a mining card. It's made only for mining. If you want to go more than 13 cards with this rig, you need those cards. And here's the problem. Those cards are expensive. They're hard to get. Anyone that does get them sells out of them, and in my opinion they're a worse deal than a regular, just a regular graphic card. I'd rather have the regular version than the mining version any day, just for reasons I can sell it if I ever need to sell it to a gamer. So this is another thing to consider. I don't bash you if you go with this. If you can get your hands on P104 or P106 mining cards, that's even better. Next motherboard to consider is the Asus Prime line. Now, I built a rig with the Asus Prime Z270A. That was an earlier version of this motherboard. Now we're on the Z370A. This is 150. This board can support 7 cards by itself and 8 or 9 cards if you use M2 adapters. I would only get this to run 7 or 8 cards. This is one of the earlier versions, the high quality motherboards people would get. It does take a little bit of tweaking. A lot of people did build 6 card, 7 card, 8 card rigs with this right when mining was started, before the Asrock H110 came out. Once you buy these motherboards, you will need risers. Risers are just little cards that let you hang your GPU cards or your mining cards anywhere you want, because you can't fit 13 cards onto a board side by side. The cards are 2 inches wide a piece, 13 inches long sometimes. So you need these risers. How much are risers? If you order from China, you don't mind waiting. They're about $5 to $6 to $7 free shipping. If you want them right now, like on eBay, shipped in the USA, priority mail, you're probably looking at about $8, $7 to $9 shipped per one. And on some of these boards like this Asrock, you're going to need 13 of them minimum. I also got a couple more for extras. If you had a B250 board and you had the cards for it, you would need 19 risers. Asus Prime, you need 7 risers to start, 8 or 9 risers if you want to go all out. So just something to consider. It's not just a $150 motherboard and then you're in. You have to buy the risers also, unless you go with a riserless board. Now this is a new board I've been experimenting with and having wonderful results. It's called the D1800 BTC. Why is this a good board? It only holds 6 cards. Alright, that's not that much. It does have a built-in CPU, which is a great deal. That saves you about $75 in your cost to build a rig. And it also takes laptop memory. Now laptop memory is low voltage memory, about 1.35 watts. Low voltage memory is about $35 compared to regular desktop memory, which is about $75. So not only do you save by having a CPU built in, and you save by getting cheaper memory. Now, they're kind of sold out everywhere, so there's only the high price ones left. These boards were available for $120 shipped a couple months ago. If you can find them at that price, $120, $140 shipped, I would definitely buy them. At $220 plus $22 shipping, I would not buy it. There's better options. What's better than this? Well, the new and improved Octo Minor. Now, this is a board we've also been testing out, and it does work good. It is an 8-slot motherboard with built-in CPU and uses laptop memory. So this board is $200. It supports 8 cards, and it's just cheap. It has all the risers built in. You just stack the cards directly into the board. It basically looks like this picture here, if you can see, once you stack them all together. Alright, so this is a great deal at $200, but you are limited to the kind of cards you can use on it. Once you also buy the motherboard, you also need to think about what kind of frame you're going to get. I like wooden frames. I can build them myself and they're cheap. If you wanted to buy a wooden frame, you're looking at about $50 to $60 shipped for just a little wooden frame like this, or you can build it yourself in an afternoon with about $20 or $30 in materials. These are just nice and easy to use. Another thing you consider is aluminum rigs. I build my own aluminum rigs also, out of Angle aluminum. These about, like I said, here's $64. You can probably get one on eBay for about $80 or $90 shipped. This is also good, depending on how many cards you want to run. And then there's a third option I consider, which is just a 4RU server case. Now this is a Roswell 4RU, that's 4 rack mount units server case. People do use these, and you do put your cards, motherboard, everything inside of them, and you basically turn your entire mining rig to one small little setup. Let's see here. You turn it into one small little thing, then you can stack it, rack them and stack them into a server rack, or if you just wanted to stack them up in the corner of your room, you can do that. But here's the thing. If you go with a RU server case to house your mining rig, you will need fans. And there's only one type of fan you can use on this. In my opinion, it's a Delta fan. Delta fans, a regular cheap fan's about $3 or $4. They do not move a lot of air. I've tried the Power Color fans, I've tried the Roswell fans, I've tried multiple fans. Nothing can move air like a Delta. Delta fan, if I use a Roswell case, I would probably put anywhere between 4 to 6 fans, maybe 4 to 7 fans. And then at the cost of those fans, you're looking at about $15 a piece, $12.50 if you shop around. So just go ahead and consider another $100 added to it, just because these tight cases, they hold heat, and the only way you can exit heat is by blowing a ton of air over them. So anyways, guys, that was just something. We're gonna have multiple videos. I'm gonna talk about power supplies, I'm gonna talk about cards. Like I said, I could talk about hours about building rigs, but this is just one thing I wanted you to consider. The only motherboards I would recommend: Asus Asrock H110 Pro BTC, my favorite; Asus B250 mining board; Asus Z370A. I would not buy anything from BioStar. I've had nothing but bad results with BioStar motherboards. You buy your risers from China, Alibaba, AliExpress, or eBay. I do recommend the D1800 if it is back of $140 shipped. I highly recommend the Octo Minor. So far so good testing this board out. And then cases, wooden, aluminum, server rack. It's up to you depending on what kind of cards you have and how many cards you're using. Alright guys, that's just a quick video. Look at my other videos for everything else. That's just Mining Board Edition. And if you get a chance, please check out the website, Ryan Knows Crypto. Please hit like and subscribe. I will show you how to build rigs. I will show you how to build mining rigs from beginning to end. Check me out. Thanks, guys.